My name is Chloe Miller, and I did my internship over the Rec2Reality program, which is a cooperative program between USD 305 and Kansas Wesleyan University students in the Adaptive Physical Education course. A little background and introduction. I was asked by Professor Minnick to partake in the internship when Jacob Luns was a senior. He was getting ready to graduate. So there was someone that needed to take over the program, and Professor Minnick thought I would be a good one. So I basically talked to him and just kept talking to him, and we kind of came to the agreement that I would be a good fit for the internship. I actually did my internship over 2 years, but I just took it as 1 year for college credit. So what I had to do was I had to fill out an internship application, have Professor Minnick sign it, and then have Brandy Callahan sign it. And she is the representative of the USD 305 special needs students that come over and do the activities with our adaptive physical education course students. When the students come over, they play Wii games and regular events with them. So, for example, like we go to the bowling alley, or we go to Starlight Mini Golf, or we just go out in the community and do different things. I was actually in the adaptive physical education course the year prior, so my sophomore year, so I saw how great of a program was and how good of an opportunity it would be for me. And I was interested because I loved the class and was a PE major at the time. Now I'm sports management, but here's just a little video about the importance of gross motor skills and fine motor skills.
Many parents are often confused about the difference between gross motor skills and fine motor skills. Gross motor skills are when children learn to make movements with all of their muscles and joints. So it's things like walking, crawling, running, jumping, climbing, anything where they need to use all of their muscles and limbs in a coordinated way. Oftentimes, gross motor skills are related to their core strength. So how strong their trunk muscles are, can they sit up straight, do they have good control and coordination to run and jump and climb, and do that in a way that is coordinated. Fine motor skills are built on your gross motor skills. Often, in order to have good quality, strong fine motor skills, you need to have solid gross motor skills. So for fine motor skills, we're looking at things like how children hold their pencil, are they able to cut with scissors, do they hold their utensils properly when they're eating. So it's really how they use the smaller muscles in their hands to coordinate doing more precise and accurate motions. If your child has difficulty with gross motor skills, some ways to help improve their gross motor skills is sometimes to involve them in community activities. Many children like to participate in swimming, they do karate, they play soccer, they find activities in their community that can help them work on building their core muscle strength and their coordination. If kids have difficulty with their fine motor skills, there's many things that you can do as a parent to help improve them. Sometimes it's sitting down and playing a board game, playing with toys, finding an arts and crafts activity that really works on them using those smaller muscles of their hands to do something that's really fun. Some children may have poor coordination, they may have difficulty with their fine motor skills, but it really comes down to their function and how much it differs than other kids who are the same age. If you're a parent that might have concerns about your child's gross motor and fine motor skills because they are impacting their everyday living skills on how they hold their utensils, whether or not they're able to get dressed and manipulate fasteners with their hands, it might be best to talk to your pediatrician and find a pediatric occupational therapist who can evaluate them and get you more information on where their skills are in relationship to kids who are the same age.
I thought that video really pertained to my internship because it's not really our job as Kansas Wesleyan students in the adaptive PE course to really teach them their motor skills, but it's our job to kind of enhance them, which is what the video was talking about. We're supposed to be able to help them be more physically active and have better skills when it comes to playing sports or doing different activities or stuff like that. So I think that's really important for people to know, is that we're not we're not teaching them, we're just enhancing them and trying to get them to be physically active while doing it. Kind of an overview of the whole internship. Like I said, it lasted over 2 years, but I did use it as a 3-hour course this year. It took place at Kansas Wesleyan in cooperation with USC 305, like I mentioned prior. Some wee activities that we did were bowling, golf, just dance, frisbee golfing, and fishing. And then we went in a community and went to the bowling alley and actually bowled, where I made sure that they had like ramps and the bumpers and everything set up so that they could just have a fun time. And then we went to Starlight Mini Golf and golfed there. And then they did dancing in the classroom here. Frisbee golfing was done on the sack lawn. We just set up hula hoops and kind of just made it a, I guess, modified frisbee golf course. And then we also went in the community and went to a pond and went fishing and just taught them kind of how to cast and reel and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, also we worked with the special needs students and helped to get them physically active. That was our main goal, even if they weren't always partaking in the sport, to kind of keep them physically active the whole time. One of the main highlights of the internship was seeing USC 305 and KWU students having fun while also learning. It wasn't just a learning opportunity for the special needs students, it was also a learning opportunity for the KW students as well, because they were put to the test with their patience and kind of teaching skills and stuff like that, which is very important because a lot of them are going into teaching. During time off from events and stuff like that, I planned for the next events or contacted Brandy to make sure there were no schedule conflicts, which sometimes there were, but they were easily taken care of. Some challenges and lessons I learned. Some of the lessons that I learned were facility planning, scheduling, and working with outside vendors such as places in the community. I learned to always check schedules twice because, like I mentioned, I did have some schedule conflicts which kind of messed up the whole calendar, but I contacted both Brandy and Professor Minnick and was able to fix those. And then also be persistent, because some of the outside vendors, they do have a lot going on and sometimes forget that you plan an event or stuff like that, so it's important to kind of always stay on them and make sure that the event is scheduled so when everybody goes there, there's no problems. And then I also learned to have patience and kind of learn from my mistakes. I did learn that I'm very organized and accountable. I do love being in charge of different events and kind of planning events and stuff like that, so I think this was right up my alley. My internship deepened my love for helping people, which ties to coaching, because in coaching I'm always helping people and trying to develop them into not only athletes but young women or men. Like I mentioned, coaching is a career related to this because you help kids develop and learn and kind of grow from your mistakes. And then it was a very rewarding experience, and I learned so many valuable lessons, and I would definitely do it again if I ever got the opportunity. I can't thank Professor Minnick and Brandy enough for all of the lessons that they taught me, and it's just been great learning under two great and really important people in the community. Do you have any questions?
I know you said like you did the internship this year, but you took the class your sophomore year. What did you learn when you were doing your internship, or like what is something you learned when you were doing your internship and while you were in the class?
In the class, I would say it was more of a hands-on experience. Like, I was actually working with the special needs kids every day and kind of finding a way for them to do physical activity or stuff like that, and kind of like figure out different ways for them to want to have fun and want to partake in the events. While when I was the recreation coordinator, I was more just kind of like behind the scenes, setting up the events, calling the vendors, talking with Brandy and Minnick, and kind of just making sure all of the students that were in the course now, it was easy for them and they were having fun and all that type of stuff.
What is one thing you would change about something you did in the internship, like maybe you could do better?
I would definitely say probably keep in contact with Brandy and Professor Minnick more. I kind of let off on that for a while, which did lead to a cause in like the conflict scheduling, because we weren't having good communication and there was an event that was kind of off and everything like that. So I just think it's really important to always check schedules twice and make sure that when you are doing the schedule, you want to make sure to kind of, I don't know, be persistent and always check and just make sure everything's always in order.